Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Panchimani bhikkhave balani katamani pancha saddha balang virya balang sati balang panya balang samadhi balang panya balang imani ko bhikkhave pancha balani ti seyathapi bhikkhave ganga nati pachinna ninna pachinna pona pachinna pabbhara evameva ko bhikkhave bhikkhu pancha balani bhavento pancha balani bahuli karanto nibbanang nibbana ninno hoti nibbana pono nibbana pabbharo katamancha bhikkhave bhikkhu pancha balani bhavento pancha balani bahuli karanto nibbana ninno hoti nibbana pono nibbana pabbharo. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today I have selected this sermon of the Buddha from the Samyutta Nikaya. It's called the Pācīna Nina Sutta. Pācīna Nina Sutta. So that is not a long sermon of the Buddha, but there are five factors are explaining in that sermon. Then I thought give a sermon on that topic, because for our mind to develop to a higher level, it needs fuel to get there. Just like a car, you all know which needs petrol or diesel to move around. It needs gasoline to drive the engine, oil for lubricants, and water for cooling, and also the distilled water for the battery, and many other kinds of oil. If any of these things is missing, it will not run smoothly or deliver us to our destination. While driving, if there is not enough water to cool the engine, it will overheat and stop running. Without gasoline, it will not run. Without lubricating oil, the engine will stop running. Likewise, for us to go from our present status of the mind to the higher and better one, namely to be morally upright and wise, we need the fuel of Dhamma for the five spiritual powers to get us there. So we are talking about the power we have to develop within ourselves. That is the main teaching. So in that, let us see what are the five strengths are, five powers are. Faith, in Pali we call this Saddha. The belief, that Saddha means the belief in the Buddha and his teaching. It is important to have faith, but we shouldn't have blind faith, because faith can divide two ways. Then when we have the blind faith, it can mislead us to our path. It won't go in our path. Then energy. Next one is energy, that is virya. The energy needed to keep going when things can't understand or things are difficult. We need the energy. The next one we call the sati, mindfulness. The awareness of thoughts, emotions and actions. It helps us to see things as they are without being influenced by likes and dislikes. The next one we call the samadhi, concentration, the ability to focus the mind on Buddha's teaching and put them into practice. So we need samadhi. The wisdom, next one we call wisdom, that panya, the ability to understand the truth for oneself. So these are the 5 things we are going to talk. Faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. So most of you are aware of the Buddha's teaching. You may have listened to this type of sermons before, but it is only just I want to remind you what are the things which we need to go forward. So these 5 included in the Bodhipakkhya Dharma, otherwise the qualities conducive to enlightenment. There are 37 enlightenment factors. So among them, one group is called these 5 strengths, Panchabala. In that sermon, when we translate, it says there are these 5 strengths. Which 5? Strength of conviction, strength of persistence, strength of mindfulness, strength of concentration, and strength of discernment. These are the 5 strengths. Just as the river Ganges flows to east, slopes to the east, inclines to the east, in the same way, when a monk or person develops or pursues the 5 strengths, he flows to unbinding, slopes of unbinding, incline to unbinding. So that is what you all know, when Ganges river goes to east, the Buddha explained that same way, if someone is following these 5 factors, then he will reach the everlasting Nibbana and also the higher status. We need these 5 spiritual powers to lead our mind to a better place, to heaven, if somebody is expecting, to Nibbana. And just like the Buddha and his noble disciples did, because how they did. They all used these spiritual powers to drive their mind to achieve their goals. Faith or conviction is beliefs in the Buddha, the Dhamma and teaching, and the Sangha or noble disciples. We believe that the Buddha was an enlightened being, an Arahant or pure one, whose mind was free of defilement or kilesa. The Pali word is kilesa. They opposed to a Putujana or ordinary people like all of us, who have not yet realized any of the 4 stages for enlightenment. We still have the greed, hatred and delusion, which subject us to dukkha or suffering. An Arahant, on the other hand, no longer has any kilesa or spiritual defilements, namely greed, hatred and delusion. He is therefore free from all form of suffering, because the cause of suffering have all been eliminated. This is what the Buddha had achieved. He then taught into others, to humans and devas, O inhabitants of the heavenly realms, whoever follows the Dhamma, that Buddha's teaching will benefit from it immensely. This is the task of the Dhamma and the Buddha, who had tirelessly and selflessly worked for the benefit of others. If he truly believes in the enlightenment, then we will not suspect or question his teaching. Faith in the Buddha will therefore lead to faith in the Dhamma. Buddha's teaching that taught us to cultivate good, avoid all evil, and cleanse our mind. That is the main teaching. This is the path to real happiness and liberation. If we believe in the Buddha, we will believe that the Dhamma, his teaching, is correct and precise. Nothing can suppress it. Even if we are very rich and have millions, we will never find true happiness, because it is not about the wealth, not about possessions or people. If you have gained something, do not think that will make you truly happy. The first, you might feel delighted, but after a while, things begin to change. New becomes old, sweet becomes bitter, nothing remains the same. This is a law of nature. People who are wealthy and have anything, everything that money can buy are genuinely happy because the things they have cannot give them true happiness. They are not genuinely happy because the things they have, they cannot give them true happiness. As we all know, during the time of the Buddha, there were millionaires who have their money, kings and princes. They are thrown for a life of recluse because they believed in the Buddha's teaching. That thought real happiness was the mind that has no kilesa or defilement. We are not happy and distressed by all sort of suffering. It's because of the kilesa. Greed, hatred and delusion are constantly agitating and disturbing our mind. They make us feel uneasy, discontent, and lusting for more and more. This is the work of the kilesa, the greed, hatred and delusion. If we can't get rid of them, then there will be nothing to agitate and push us to crave for the this and that, to go here and there and lust for the lots and lots of money so we can buy lots of things we make us feel happy. But this kind of happiness is very short-lived before boredom sets in. Familiarity breeds boredom. After we own these things for a while, we get tired of them and want other things. It is like when you buy a new car, then afterwards you will think to buy another one because this is getting old or this is not a new model. This is the nature of intending lust. No matter how much we have, it is never enough for us. Dhamma therefore teaches that true happiness does not depend on having money to buy things, because everything in this world is temporary, full of stress, and not under our control. We may think that having this or that will make us happy, but after having it for a while, we will tire to it. When it becomes old, damaged, breaks down, or leaves us, it will feel dejected. Therefore, please remember that everything in this world that we see, hear, taste, smell and touch is impermanent. They will surely leave sooner or later, as one day. When we love something that we love dearly, it will make us very sad indeed. Because of this, the Buddha left all his pleasures, possessions to become monk in search of the real kind of happiness that doesn't depend on external things such as wealth, fame or praise. The happiness that derives from peace of mind, devoid of kilesa, that's what Buddha was looking for. But when the kilesa is active, the mind is set on fire. We look mean and ferocious when we are angry or greedy. Our facial expression reflects our state of mind. But when the kilesa is overcome, the mind radiates love, compassion, peace, charity and forgiveness. This is what happens when the mind is rid of all the kilesas, all the defilements, it experiences the supreme bliss. Therefore, we should not go to the viharas or temples to pay for this or that, but to listen to the Dhamma teaching that will guide us to the true happiness. That doesn't require us to pray or beg from anyone. Some people, they have a habit of going to the temples and praying and begging. But Buddhism does not encourage for that. Buddhism doesn't teach people to beg. It teaches people to act. That is why Buddha said, Attahi attano nato. We are our own refuge. This brings us to the second spiritual power, that is energy of virya. First one was the having the faith. When you have a strong faith on something, then it is very easy to work on it. So that is why we need faith. So this is the next one, is the energy of virya. If we want to achieve the noble goal of Dhamma practice, we must diligent and hardworking. We must give alms, maintain the precepts of Sila, listen to the Dhamma talk, and make as much merits as we possibly can. That means don't be lazy. The more we sow, the more we will reap. If we don't put in the effort, we will reap nothing. No one can do it for us, not even the Buddha or his noble disciples. They can only point us the way, instruct us on how to realize the goal. That is why Buddha said, Tumehi kiccang atappang akkatharu tathagata. The goal is yours. You have to go it. Tumehi kiccang, you have to do it. Only Tathagatas or teachers can only show the way how you can do it. This goal is not to be materially wealthy, but spiritually wealthy. That is the main thing. We should be rich with morality, charity, spiritual happiness and contentment. This kind of wealth can never be stolen from us, unlike the worldly possessions. Unlike worldly possession can be taken away, but whatever the wealth you achieve, you gain with the spiritual practice, it cannot be taken by somebody else. Your husband or wife can be taken even from us. Our children and our property can be seized, but the real wealth within ourselves can never be stolen from us by anyone. Meritorious actions, kusala karma, are truly our possessions. They will protect us, make us happy and content now and in the future. When we die, we will go to Sugati or a happy destination, not to Apaya Bhumi or state of deprivation. 4 lower levels of extinction into which we will be reborn of our past unskillful actions. Those are like the rebirth in hell as a hungry goat, as an angry demon, or as a common animal. It won't happen, it will happen according to our karmic deed. If we could maintain all the meritorious actions, such as keeping the 5 precepts and giving to charity, we would at the East be reborn as human being endowed with beauty, brain and wealth, and suffered no hardship or injury because we were led by the skillful actions. Therefore, if we want to improve ourselves, go to happy destination or Sugati or goal extinction, a noble plane of existence of Arya Bhumi, or become an Arahant, we must be diligent and persistent in doing meritorious or skillful action. We must strive in maintaining our ethical and moral purity, not allowing it to slip away, and push into have more of it. For example, if we now keep the 5 precepts, we must not slide back, should keep more precepts, going from the 5 precepts to 8, 10, and eventually to the 227 precepts practiced by the monks or bhikkhus, which is goal and right thing to do. We must also work hard to avoiding ourselves from doing more unwholesome and unskillful action that we have already discarded. For example, in the past we used to be unreliable and emotional. Now we are calm and rational. People may say bad things about us, but we don't mind. We can forgive and forget. We can now manage our anger and keep it under control, not allowing it to reappear. So that is what we call the virya. Energy should be there. If we still process any other unwholesome qualities, like holding grudges or being stubborn, we should also strive to eradicate them. We should be rational rather than being greedy, hateful and delusional. What we haven't yet discarded, we ought to do. What we have already eliminated, we must not allow to return. In other words, we must strive to cultivate good, avoid all evil, and cleanse our mind. This is what is meant by energy or virya, the second spiritual power. To begin, we must first have faith or saddha. When we have the faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma and the Sangha, we will then have the courage to do what they taught us to do, because we know that there will only be good consequences. Maybe in the future we must encounter some crisis, go through unpleasant situations such as losing our loved ones. If we have the Buddha's teaching to reflect on, we would remain calm and peaceful, rather than being afflicted with sorrow and lamentation to the point of not being able to eat or sleep, because the Buddha has told us that parting from one loved one is a natural occurrence. It happens to everyone. It is not unusual. There is no need to be sad or tearful. We are still alive. Life goes on. We should maintain our calmness and not fall prey to depression. If we could do this, we would see the benefit of the Dhamma teaching, Buddha's teaching. When we run into trouble, the teachings of the Buddha that we have heard before could help us to get out of our predicament and ease out our suffering. We would then appreciate immensely the value of the Buddha's teaching. Would be a lot more diligent in our practice and would want to do more meritorious actions like giving to charity. Why do people give to charity or keep the training precepts? We might ask ourselves why we are doing it. It is because it makes them feel good and help them in time of crisis. If we haven't done it before, we might not appreciate it. To find out, we just have to do it. Just keep doing it until we reap the results. It is like planting trees. We don't expect trees to bear fruits right away. When we plant mango and other tree, we have to wait 5 to 10 years for them to bear fruit. It is the same with making merits, keeping the precepts or listening to Dhamma talk. It doesn't come to fruition instantly. It takes time. What we must do is to have faith in the Buddha's teaching and apply it patiently. then fruits of our labor will come in due course. The third spiritual power is mindfulness of, we call sati. If we want quick results from our practice, we need mindfulness. We must always be mindful of what we do because mindfulness controls the mind. The mind is like automobile and mindfulness is its driver. If the driver has no mindfulness, like when he is drunk, he would not be able to drive safely. He would probably unknowingly run through a red light at an intersection. Without mindfulness, we will not be able to stop our mind when we want to. Having mindfulness to control the mind is like tying a monkey to a tree. If it were not put on a lash, it would go. That monkey will go everywhere, causing a lot of troubles. On the other hand, if it is tied to a tree, it wouldn't go far. At first, it might struggle to free itself. After a while, it would get tired and stop struggling. It is subdued. Similarly, we can use mindfulness to control our mind. When we get angry or become greedy, if we have mindfulness, we would be able to stop our anger and greed. Mindfulness is therefore extremely essential and useful. When we lose our mindfulness, we would be like cars without brakes. We would misbehave and cause a lot of trouble for ourselves and others. People won't be respect or admire us but get sick of us. They would think that we are insane because we would do or say whatever we like without considering what is right or proper. We are driven by our notions and fancies. People wouldn't like to be associated with us. It is therefore priority for us to have mindfulness if we want to excel and become a good and respectable citizen. Having mindfulness means we must always be mindful of our actions. We must be mindful of what we do or say. Our mind must always be in the present, here and now, not drifting away to some other place. If it does, we wouldn't be aware of what we are doing. For example, if our mind is thinking about something else while we cut meat or vegetables, it might cut our fingers instead. This is because we have no mindfulness. If we do, we will know all the time what we are doing. If we could restrain our mind, it could eventually calm down and realize samadhi or concentration, not wandering here and there, but stay put, here and now, like a glass of water that was placed. It is still there and not going anywhere. Similarly, if we use mindfulness to control our mind, we would be able to concentrate and remain still. Once that happens, we can accomplish many things. Therefore, apart from having faith, effort, and mindfulness, we must also have concentration or we call this samadhi. What should we concentrate on? Well, we should concentrate on doing good deeds. Normally, it is not easy for us to do this. Why? It is because our mind tends to drift with our emotions. One day when we feel charitable and want to make a charitable contribution, we would do it. On the other days when we don't have that feelings, we won't do it. But when we have samadhi or concentration, we would be doing good deeds all the time, refraining from refrain from doing evil would also be easy to do because the mind is now primed by samadhi to do it. We would then be always constantly on refraining from doing evil and cultivating good deeds. To be successful in our endeavors, we must therefore have concentration or samadhi. It is therefore necessary to meditate on a regular basis, at least once or twice a day. After we get up in the morning, wash our face and brush our teeth, we could start with some chanting. It is a form of meditation. If we could do it for half an hour or an hour, it would keep calm and mind down. The mind would stay put, not wandering around. If you don't like chanting, we could meditate by in and out breathing. Do it as long as we possibly can, half an hour or 2 hours. This is a way to refrain. This is a way of training the mind to keep still with the aid of mindfulness. If you meditate without mindfulness, the mind will drift away. While chanting, if you also think of some other things, it means that the mind is not concentrating, not being mindful. For example, while we chant, some people do meditate on saying Itipiso Bhagavaraham in that way. And also think of what we are going to do today. While doing that, if you think that, it means that we are not being mindful. We are chanting, but our mind is also thinking about something else. This will not yield the desired result. The mind will not stay put. To keep it still, we must be only mindful of what we are chanting. If we chant Arahato Samma Sambuddho, then Arahato Samma Sambuddho must be the only thing in our mind. Don't let other things in. Our mind must be focused on only one thing. If it is, it will stay put. If there are 2 or 3 things in our mind, it will wobble, drifting back and forth, unable to keep still and calm down. It will become restless. This restlessness is caused by the defilement of kilesa such as love, hatred, boredom, and the like. They will upset us, making us unable to do good. This would happen because our mind is not set. We have no samadhi. So we should keep on meditating. We can meditate all the time, no matter where we are or what we do. We can do it while driving, just don't close your eyes. But while driving, you can recite something in your head, and also while concentrating on driving. This is also a form of meditation. While eating, concentrate on eating. Reading, concentrate on reading. Working, concentrate on working. We don't have to wait until we can go to the temple, to a quiet place, or to sit in front of the Buddha image in order to meditate. You can meditate anywhere. That will be too late if we are waiting for that. It is because the kilesa are always active and ever present. Greed and hatred can pop up anywhere, anytime. Whenever we see something, greed or hatred can pop up right away. To fight them, we must use the Dhamma to stop them. We must use mindfulness and samadhi to stop that. Fighting the kilesa is a 24/7 job. From the time we get up in the morning until the time we fell asleep, we must always be on guard. Be mindful all the time of our thoughts. Is it about greed or anger? If it is, we must use mindfulness to stop them. We must remind ourselves that they are not good. They are like fire. When we hate, become greedy or lustful, we are setting our mind on fire. When we are not greedy or hated, we would feel cool and at ease. Greed and anger can only be stopped by mindfulness. We must therefore strive to develop mindfulness and meditate all the time. When we have free time, instead of looking at comic books or fashion magazines or these days in TikTok, we should mentally recite some kind of a stanza, what you prefer. Sometimes people practice with Itipiso Bhagava or Buddha in some other countries. Our mind will be cool, happy and relaxed. It will focus on doing good like meditating and developing samadhi or mental stability that will assist in our quest for the noble goal of spiritual purity. Finally, the fifth and last of the spiritual powers that will assist us in our spiritual advancement is wisdom, or we call the Pali word, we call the panya. To have wisdom is to be wise as opposed to being ignorant. In Buddhism, however, the emphasis is on knowing about suffering or dukkha, about the Four Noble Truths or Arya Satya. That means the suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the path of practice leading to cessation of suffering. So that understanding, that's the panya comes. Usually when we are unhappy, we don't know what causes it. But one who possesses wisdom or panya, we will know right away that the mind is in fire. Right now we are sit here quite comfortably. If someone does something that bothers us, we can no longer remain calm. If we don't have the wisdom, we will not know what we are suffering. If we have wisdom acquired from regularly listening to the Dhamma talk and practicing, we will know that when we feel ill and ease, we are suffering. Mental suffering or stress has its origin not from the external, but from within the mind itself. It causes are the three cravings of tanha, that is namely craving for sensuality, for becoming and for not becoming. That means kama tanha, bhava tanha and vibhava tanha. Craving for sensuality, kama tanha, is our lust for visible objects. Sounds, smell, flavors and physical sensations such as beautiful clothes and other material objects. When we lust for them, it would stir up restlessness right away. When we see advertisement on the television for some products with tantalizing offers and the telephone number to call, we would immediately make that call. We could not remain still because the mind has set on fire. This is how it is now afflicted with suffering. Suffering or stress occurs in the mind. It is origin, the three cravings. That is origin is its craving. Also comes from the mind. If we have no craving, we would not be afflicted by such suffering or stress. When we are full of a meal, we couldn't take another bite, even if it is our favorite dish. That is because we don't have any craving for food. But if we were hungry because we haven't eaten for a day or two, we would consume even plain rice or banana, let alone our favorite dish, because in our lust for food. When we are restless, we are being consumed by stress. If we can stay put, we would be happy. Suffering or stress is therefore in the mind. The origin of suffering is also in the mind. The stress of suffering must be controlled in the mind. The goal to achieve this is also in the mind, namely Magga or path or practice leading to cessation of suffering. The tool to achieve this cessation of suffering. What is Magga or path? Mindfulness and wisdom or sati and panya, as mentioned earlier, are the component of Magga or path along with faith, energy and samadhi. We must realize that our craving causes our suffering or stress. Once we do, all we have to do is to give up our craving. For example, we are already full of meal, but still crave for more, especially when we see some exciting dish or an advertisement. The mind wants to run to refrigerator to get some more food. If we are mindful of our thoughts, we could tell the mind that we have just finished eating. If we eat again, we will get fat and gain weight. The cholesterol would be higher, the blood pressure would decrease, and we would die sooner. This thought would stop us and put the brake on our craving. When the craving has been eliminated, the mind would become calm and peaceful. That will apply to any craving. In Buddhism, this is wisdom. All things in this world are impermanent and bring suffering or stress. Don't be attached to that visible objects, sound, smells, flavors and physical sensations, wealth, status, praise and sensual pleasures that we treasure so much. When we acquire wealth, we feel so happy. But in the eyes of the wise, they are the source of unhappiness if they are more than what is needed for our existence. When we have more than we need, they become a mental liability, causing restlessness and anxiety, driving us to spend and to acquire more and more, locking us in the vicious circle of acquisition and spending. Never ever find peace of mind and contentment. Don't ever think that wealth, status, praise and sensual pleasures can bring true happiness, because it is transient. It comes and goes. When we got rich, we feel happy. When we become poor, we are unhappy. When all the money is gone, there will be no greater suffering. Use your head and come to the realization that true happiness comes from contentment. No more greed, hatred and illusion. No more craving for sensuality, for becoming and for not becoming. No more craving to become a lieutenant general or director or Miss Universe. We don't have. If we want them, we will have to go after them. If we do not, we could stay put and be genuinely happy. The origin of all suffering or stress is the three cravings. To get rid of them, we must use wisdom or panya to make us realize that they don't give us true happiness. True happiness is in the mind that has defeated all the craving. If we possess the five spiritual powers, namely faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom, we will have the tool to eliminate the kilesas and defeat suffering or stress from our mind. Please develop these five spiritual powers. These are the saddha and energy, and also the sati, samadhi and panya. All these things should be developed. Then you can attain true happiness. Eventually, those things will be yours and it will lead us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. So that is what we are looking for here. In this sermon, my idea was saying these 5 factors of the 5 strengths we should develop within us. That's in, we need to have faith on something. If we wanted to follow that path, we need a faith for that. Then we have a strong faith on it, we know that we are on a correct path. Then we act according to that, according to the teachings we act, and also it will give us energy, and also it itself, we have to develop our energy to attain that status. And also having that mindfulness, then when we have energy, and also when you get rid of all the unwholesome deeds, words and thoughts, then it will help us to have mindfulness, sati, and also it will develop the samadhi, and end of the day we are leading for the panya to understand the Four Noble Truth and attainment of Nibbana. So that is what I want to say in this sermon today. Okay, our sermon is over now. Then you can be prepared for Buddha Puja.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Please be seated. Why don't all the DS boys please come to the front.
Organizers can come and sit in front.
May I have your table?
Good morning, everyone. We are going to perform the Buddha Puja of Buddha Puja. Today, this Navam Koya celebrations take place in the Vihara today. At the same time, this Dana today has been organized by D.S. Senanayaka Old Boy Association in the UK. This is annual event of D.S. Senanayaka Old Boy Association's Dana ceremony. Annual, there is a program for the year. One of the items of the calendar, their itinerary, is offering a dana. It is a good opportunity for all boys to perform a dana ceremony. Simultaneously, our Navam Poya being a program for today. So therefore I ask our Dayaka, always he is very prominent supporter of the London Buddhist Vihara, our Nihal Silva. I asked him this Navampoya celebrations also connected to the day. Is it possible for you to sponsor day? He and his friends of the All Boy Association, they all agree to do so. So therefore, it is a support, big support for the for our Navampoya program. So I appreciate very much for their support for the Navampoya program, for the dana, providing dana to the monks and to the upasakas and upasikas. DS College has produced very good Sri Lankan community, Sri Lankan people, those who have contributed for various areas in Sri Lanka. So therefore, there is a great reputed, very great reputed college at DSN Nayaka. More than 4,000 students learn in DSN Nayaka College. This our community, the All Boy Association, they are very clever children. Actually, they do so many activities, social activities, charity works, and also religious activities as well. We appreciate with that remarks, showing your gratitude to DSN Nayaka College. The founder, Alas, and other principals and all the other teachers, and also show your appreciation to the college. You have organized this dana ceremony today. Siru Denama DSN Nayaka Vidyale Adikatru Buddha Alas Meditumana Pramuka Guru Bhavatum Siru Denatamat ආශිර්වාද කරන්න, ඒ වගේම ඔබ හැම දිනාටමත් ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය ඇති කර ගන්න මේ අවස්ථාවේ මේ පින්කම සූදානම් වෙලා තියෙනවා. අපි පූජාව ආරම්භ කරනවා. ඔබ හැම දිනාම පන්සිල් ගන්න නමස්කාරය කියන්න ඕනි. Those who have observed 8 precepts, please keep silence, okay? Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddham saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhamman Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sangham Saranang Gacchami Panatipata Vedamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami Adinadana Vedamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami Kamesu Michachara Vedamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami Musavada Vedamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami Suramira Majjapama Dattana Vedamani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami
Okay, now you have prepared the dana. You are going to offer the first portion of your preparation to the Buddha, recollecting the noble qualities of the Buddha. So this is a dana organized by DS Vinaya Code UK branch. It is not a new thing for you all because you perform this dana in early occasions. And Mr. Nihal Silva and also his friends and all the others got together, always they do this dana. Being now for celebrations, today you are joining, you are doing more merits while organizing this dana, though it is difficult things, but you are doing it very nicely. So we would like to thank you all. And it is your Founders' Day in a way. You remember your founders of the school and also all the other departed ones are remembered within this dana ceremony. So the main purpose of doing is to remember those founders and also all the teachers and other principals who have passed away from the school, and also to give blessings for all the OBA members and also their family members. Now, let us recite these stanza to offer these offerings to the Buddha, thinking that may these offerings go to the Buddha, including flowers and all the other offerings. May these offerings go to the Buddha. May the merits accrued by these offerings be with departed founder and also all the others, departed ones, receive these merits. May they be well and happy wherever they are now. And also may you all share these merits. May you, all the family members, children and all the family members, may you all share these merits. May you all be well, happy and peaceful. May you have peaceful and successful life here and hereafter. May these meritorious deeds help us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With these thoughts, let us recite these stanzas together to offer these offerings. Vandagandha guno yetam yetam kusuma sampatim pujayami munindasa siripada saroruge pujayami buddham kusumena nena punyena me Namo
sītaram kāpam pasanna maduram subham pānīya vitam bhagavā bhakti-ganhātu uttama adivāsetu no ante bhojanam parikappitam anukampam upādāya bhakti-ganhātu uttama adivāsetu no ante sabbam saddāya pujitam anukampam upādāya bhakti-ganhātu uttama vandāni cetiyan sabbam sabbatāni supaketitam sārikadātu mahābodhin buddharūpam sakalam sadā kāyena vācā cittena pamādena maya katam acayam kamani pante bhuri panya tathāgata imina punya kammena māmi vāla samāgamo sakam samāgamo tu yāva nibbāna pattiyā.
So, so now we are going to dedicate the second part of your lunch preparation to the sacred Sangha here. As Moggallana Maha mentioned, on behalf of the London Buddhist Vihara congregation, he approached the contact person, Mr. Nihal Silva, to get DS Vinaya Code OBA, UK branch to sponsor today's dana. As he said, this is a great offering because this is not only the Sangha but also the 8 precept observance, 8 precept practitioners today that you are offering the dana to. And as so, this Vinaya College is an epitome of ethnic harmony and reconciliation. Sri Lankan students from all religious and ethnic backgrounds get educated at DS. That is why, given the way you organize events also here in London, you organize a Buddhist event like this, and you organize a Christmas event and iftar, and then other festivals like dances and all, dinner dances and all these things. So, and Mr. Nyāvis, I'm not praising you individually, but you are the point here is that today all boys here, and that you represent different generations. Nihal was from the first batch, 1967, right, as you said. And he also said that that time, Cinnamon Gardens or Purundu was not simply a garden, but a Purundu Kalava, Purundu cinnamon jungle. So that made the abundance of merit that you are Guru today's offering to Buddha, and now to the Sangha and also 8 observant practitioners, be upon your loving founder, the late Mr. Alas, as well as late principals, vice principals, teaching staff members, and late colleagues as well. And at the same time, think about your own family members. By sharing the merits, may the great founder, Mr. Talas, as well as everyone, continue their samsaric journey happily and safely. Thanks to him and the late teaching staff. So you live in this beautiful life here today, and that's your alma mater. So this is also in tribute to alma mater, His Enlightenment College. By sharing the merit, may the late Mr. Alas and others continue their journey in samsara safely and happily. May the merit be upon yourselves as well, and may all Samadhitika Devas or benevolent divine forces also share the merit, and may they shower their blessings upon you or OBA members as well as the college in Sri Lanka. And on the transcendental level, may this dana serve as a mode of paramita in order for you to achieve salvation, Nibbana one day. With those sacred objectives in heart, could you now repeat after to dedicate dana to sacred Sangha, please? Imam Bhikkhang Bhikkhu Sangha Deva Imam Bhikkhang Bhikkhu Sangha Deva Imam Bhikkhang Bhikkhu Sangha Deva
Citam Patitam Tuyam Gameva Samijatu Sabbi Purentu Citta Sankappa Chando Anarasiyata Ayurarogya Sampati Sakha Sampati Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampati Minadi Samijatu Shantinayaka Tilokuru Buddha Piyanam Mahansev Disa Suddho Buddha Puja Bhavatva Anatudani Sangi Kudu Puja Kirimen Laban Lada Kusala Dharmyan Hetu Kutagena Metan Patan Nivandakna Jati Dakwa Narakadi Satara Payu Pati Dukhe Dunapina Devni Sapakelavere Buddhadi Manottame Animi Sanasi Paminavadal Sant Sundara Nirvana Sampati Saksat Karganimate Naminni Parlogia Dharmi Nyati Netropa Samadinatamaviping Hetu Eva Vasana Viva Pratanavan Ishtavi Sita Sadhara Sitin Yuktave Ping Anmodam Vietu. පැන්වලන් තිබෙන්නේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ නිලධාරි මණ්ඩලයේ මහතුරු ටිකක් හිතෙන් කිට්ටු වෙන්න හොඳයිකෝ Boy Association එකේ මේ මෙම්බර්ස්ලා එකතු වෙලා පැන්වලන්ද කෙනෙක් පිටුරක් ගන්න පුළුවන් එනවා පින්තූරයක් අනනික වාටිය වාඩි වෙන්න පැන් වලන ඔබ සඳ දිනාම ආදරය කරපු ඒ ගුරු මෑණිවරුන්ට ගුරු පියවරුන්ට ආරම්භක විද්‍යාපතිතුමාණන්ට ආද දවසේ කරන ලද මේ මහා පින්කමේ පින් අනුමෝදන් කරන කෘතඥතාවයෙන් ඒ අයගේ සංසාර ගමනට මේ පින් පිහිට වේවා කියලා කවුරු ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරමු ධම්මේ ඥාතිනම් හෝතු ඥාතියෝ ධම්මේ ඥාතිනම් හෝතු ස්පිතාවෝ ඥාතියෝ යතා වාගීවා පුරා පරිපූර්ණති සාගරං ඒව මේවරිතෝ දින්නම් පේකානං උපගප්පති උන්නමේ උදකං වට්ඨං යථා නින්නම් පවට්ඨති ඒව මේවරිතෝ දින්නම් පේකානං උපගප්පති Pacitan Turiyan Kitameva Samijjatu Sabbe Purentu Citta Sankappa Chando Pannarasiyata Mani Jyoti Rasoyata. Now we monks also happy to do some chanting invoke blessings upon you for the members of the committee, organizing committee, and all the members of the Old Boy Association in the UK and their families, and staff in DSN and College and students. May you all get the blessings of this Pinkama, this meritorious deed, and this chanting. I wish you all the success of your activities your program for the annual program. We wish good health, happiness, and protection from all the dangers. Samdenatma asvada karno. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava araham samma sambuddho. Charana sampanno sukrato lokavido anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manusanam buddho bhagavati sakato bhagavata dhammo santitiko akaliko ehipassiko opanayiko pachattam Panno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Nyaya Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Samiti Patipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Yatidam Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pukkala Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Daktineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttaram Punya Kettam Lokasa Ditena Satya Vajena Vadu Tvam Ratanatayam Etena Satya Vajena Vadu Tvam Ratanatayam Etena Satya Vajena Vadu Tvam Ratanatayam Sabbitiyo Vivajjantu Sabbarogo Vinasatu Mate Bhavantantarayo Sukhiti Ayuko Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabba Mangalam Rakhantu Sabba Devata Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Sotti Bhavantu Te. Sirvishtarthagami Sasanamamaka Lokapalaka Samyak Dustika Devi Devataoda මේ පින් අනුමෝදන් වෙලා අපේ මේ දායක පින්තුන් සියලු දෙනාටම දියසෙනායක විද්‍යාලයට මේ ඉන්න OBA සියලුම සමාජිකයින්ට සමාජික පවුල් වලට මේ පැමිණ සිටින සියලුම පින්තුන්ට ආශිර්වාද කෙරෙත්වා දිව්‍යෝද පින් අනුමෝදන් වෙත්වා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරන දිව්‍යයන් පින් දෙනවා ඊතාවතා චම්මේ සම්පතං පුඤ්ඤ සම්පතං Sabbe Devanudantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Ettavata Chammeni Sampatam Punya Sampadam Sabbe Bhutanudantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Ettavata Chammeni Sampatam Punya Sampadam Sabbe Satanudantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya සියලු පින් අනුමෝදන් වූ දෙවි දේවතාවන්ගේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් බුදු ධම්ම සංඝ රත්නත්‍රයේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් මේ කරන ලද්දා වූ මහා පින්කමේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් තව තවත් ලංකාවට අවශ්‍ය දක්ෂ පිරිසක් අපට විද්‍යාලයෙන් දේශනාක විද්‍යාලයෙන් බිහි වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. මේ අපි දන්නවා හැම ශාස්ත්‍රයකම ඉතාම දක්ෂ අය ඉන්නවා ක්‍රිකට් ශාස්ත්‍රය වගේ ඒ වගේම හුදාබේ ඔය විදිහට හැම එකේම ඉතාම දක්ෂ පිරිසක් විද්‍යාලයෙන් ලංකාවට තිලින කරලා තියෙනවා. තවදුරටත් ඒ කටයුතු ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යාමට මේ වගේ මහා පින්කම් වල ආශිර්වාද ලැබේවා. අපගේ මේ දායක පින්තුන් හැටියට මේ ලියසෙනාගේ ඕල් බෝයිස්ලා කටයුතු කරන සියලු දෙනාටමත් මේ පැමිණ සිටින සියලු දෙනාටමත් ආශිර්වාදයේ හිමි වේවා. එකසේම ඔබගේ කටයුතු සාර්ථක වේවා, සඵලමත් වේවා. මේ ගෙන යනා වූ ජීවිතේ වඩාත් ප්‍රීතිමත් ප්‍රාර්ථනාවන් ඉෂ්ට වූ ජීවිතයක් වූ සෑම දෙනාටම දරුවන්ටත් එක්ක ලැබේවා කියලා අපි ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. අභිවාදන සීලිස නිච්ඡාමද්දා චායෝ චත්තාරෝ ධම්මා වඩ්ඩන්ති ආයුවන්නෝ සුඛං බලං ආයුරෝග්‍ය සම්පatti සග්ග සම්පatti මේවච අතෝ නිවාන සම්පatti මිනාහි සමිජ්ජතු. අපි පිරිත් නූල බඳින්න දාන ඉවර වෙලා දැන් ගිහිල්ලා සූදානම් කරන්න දාන. ශ්‍රී සමාදන් වෙච්ච පින්වතුන් ප්‍රධාන ශාලාවට ගිහිල්ලා වාඩි වෙන ලෙස ආවර්ජන කරනවා.